My daughter, this borrowing of clothes will destroy your life one day.
Mama, beg, leave me. Did I kill anyone? What do you even know about fashion?
A few moments later.
I should have listened to Mama.
Sewa lived in a crowded compound where secrets never stayed hidden. Children ran around shouting. Women cooked and argued. Everybody knew who was sleeping with hunger and who was pretending to be fine. Sewa was pretending. She was not rich, she was not poor, but she wanted to look better than her life. Sewa hated repeating clothes. If she wore a dress once and someone saw her, that dress was finished in her mind, even if it was clean, even if it was new. She wanted people to always say, "Ah, see Sewa, she is always fresh." That praise was food to her heart. One afternoon, there was a small naming ceremony in the compound. Nothing serious, just food, music, and gossip. Sewa opened her box. Only 3 dresses looked back at her. She sighed. Then she remembered Bisi. Bisi always dressed well. Sewa walked to her room with a soft smile. "Bisi," she said gently, "please help me. Let me borrow that blue dress you wore to wedding last year. I will return it tomorrow morning." Bisi looked at the dress, then at Sewa. "Tomorrow," Bisi said. "Yes, tomorrow," Sewa replied quickly. That day, people admired her. They greeted her well. She felt important. Tomorrow came. The dress did not return. It came back the next evening. Bisi noticed. She frowned a little, but she said nothing. "It is just clothes," she told herself. That was the door Sewa needed. After that, borrowing became easy. Today from Bisi, tomorrow from Kemi, next from another woman. Always smiling, always promising, "I will return it tomorrow." Sometimes she returned clothes late. Sometimes they smelled of sweat. Sometimes powder stained the neck. But Sewa always laughed. "Ah, sorry, you know how it is." At first, nobody complained. Borrowing clothes was normal in the compound, but Sewa did it too much. One evening, an old woman stopped her. "Sewa, a person who borrows too much will soon borrow trouble." Sewa nodded politely. Inside her heart, she laughed. "It is only clothes. Am I stealing?" Then the wedding news came. A big wedding, important guests. She borrowed a lace, she borrowed shoes, she borrowed a bag. That wedding day, she looked like a rich woman. But rain followed her home. The lace got wet, mud touched the shoes, the bag tore. She cleaned what she could and returned them quietly. The owners noticed. They did not talk, but something changed. The next morning, voices dropped when she entered the compound. It was small, very small, but it was the beginning. That night, a child shouted, "Is that not Auntie Kemi's dress?" People laughed. Sewa laughed too. But inside her chest, fear knocked for the first time. She ignored it. She did not know yet that this habit had already chosen how her life would end. By the time Sewa noticed people were avoiding her, it was already too late. When she stepped into the compound, doors did not close fully, but they did not open wide again. Women answered her greetings with short voices. Smiles came late or not at all. Sewa felt it, but she pretended she did not. She told herself, they are just in bad moods. The truth was simple. People were tired. Tired of her knocking. Tired of her sweet voice. Tired of hearing the same promise, "I will return it tomorrow." Sewa now borrowed without shame. If she saw a cloth drying outside, her eyes would stop there first. She would imagine herself inside it before even greeting the owner. One morning, Sewa borrowed a green dress from Kemi. That evening, Kemi needed the dress for an outing. She knocked on Sewa's door. "Sewa, please, my dress." Sewa smiled nervously. "Ah, I wanted to return it tomorrow morning." Kemi's face changed. Tomorrow, she asked. You said today. Sewa laughed. Is it not the same thing? Kemi did not laugh. She walked away. The next day, Kemi told someone. That person told another. Soon, people started counting. She borrowed my top last week. She still has my scarf. My shoe came back dirty. My blouse tore. The whispers grew louder. Still, Sewa did not stop. Another event came. Another excuse. This time, Sewa borrowed a cream-colored gown from a woman called Fuke. Fuke warned her clearly. Please, Sewa, return it before night. Sewa nodded. That evening, Sewa stayed out late. When she returned the gown the next day, Funke screamed. The gown had a big stain on the front. What is this? Funke shouted. People gathered. Sewa tried to explain. It was small rain. Funke cut her off. Rain put oil stain on cloth. Everyone went quiet. Sewa's throat dried. For the first time, she could not laugh. Funke took the gown and walked away, shaking her head. From that day, borrowing became hard. People started lying to Sewa. My clothes are not at home. My sister took it. I am traveling. Sewa felt angry. Are they better than me? She thought. Then came the funeral. A big one. Whole community. Sewa had nothing black. She went from door to door. No one agreed. Finally, one woman felt pity. Take this, she said, and return it this evening. I am wearing it to funeral. At the funeral, Sewa sat at the front, forgetting that lady was supposed to wear it today. Then the woman stood up and pointed. That is my cloth, she said loudly. Silence fell like heavy rain. All eyes turned to Sewa. Her mouth opened. No words came out. The woman continued. I begged her to return it since morning. People began to murmur. Again? So it is true? This borrowing has no end. Sewa stood up slowly. Her legs were shaking. She walked out of the gathering, head down, cloth still on her body. That day, her name changed. People did not call her Sewa anymore. They called her Borrow and Borrow. That night, an elder sent for her. Sewa, he said firmly, this thing you are doing will finish you. Stop now. Sewa nodded. She even cried. One last time. But the next morning, she saw a fine red blouse hanging nearby. Her heart beat fast. One last time, she whispered. She knocked. That knock would push her into a place she could never return from. The knock on the door was soft, too soft. The woman inside already knew who it was. Sewa, the woman said without opening the door. Go back. Sewa froze. Please, she begged. Just this one. I will return it before sunset. There was silence. Then the woman spoke again. People like you do not return things. Go. The door stayed shut. That was the day Sewa understood something terrible. The world had closed its hands against her. She walked back into the compound slowly. Clothes were hanging everywhere, but none of them belonged to her anymore. Women pulled their clothes in when they saw her. Some carried their undried clothes inside. Children pointed. Mommy, is that Borrow and Borrow? Sewa felt her chest burn. She went to her room and opened her box. Inside were the same 3 old dresses, faded, tired, ashamed with her. She sat on the floor and cried. But crying did not stop hunger. Crying did not stop events. 2 days later, another ceremony came. This time, it was important, very important. Sewa stood up and wiped her face. I will beg, she told herself. They cannot all reject me. She tried again. Door after door. No one opened. Some shouted from inside, Go away! Don't knock here. Enough is enough. Sewa had run out of options. She had borrowed from everyone, and now there was only one person left. She saw a young girl holding a bright red, expensive dress. Her heart raced. "This is my last chance," she thought. She walked up to the girl, pointing her finger, her face burning with anger. "Give me that dress," she shouted. Her mouth opened wide, her eyes sharp, sparks of fury almost visible around her head. The young girl held the dress tightly, her eyes wide with fear. She shook her head. "No, I won't give it to you." Sewa could not believe it. Her hand shook, her face turned red. "You are refusing me? A small girl refusing a grown woman? Your father didn't train you well before he died. Where is your respect, selfish child?" The neighbors all stopped what they were doing. They pointed at Sewa and whispered. Some shook their heads. Even the children watched quietly, amazed at the scene. At last, she remembered Auntie Morenike, the kindest woman in the compound. Sewa fell on her knees. "I beg you," she cried, "help me." Auntie Morenike looked at her with tired eyes. Still, she went inside and brought out a simple dress. "This one," she said, "return it before night. It's for my daughter." Sewa nodded again and again. That day, she wore the dress and felt alive. But trouble was waiting. While rushing home, she fell. The dress tore badly, very badly. Sewa stared at it. Her hands shook. She knew there was no fixing it. She went back to Auntie Morenike's door. Sewa's hands were shaking. Her legs felt like jelly. She carried the torn purple lace dress to Auntie Morenike's house. The whole compound was watching her. Everyone stopped what they were doing. Even the children were quiet. Her heart was beating fast. She knew this time she could not escape. Auntie Morenike came out slowly. Her face was calm, but her eyes were sharp like a knife. She looked at Sewa. Then she looked at the torn gown. "I told you nothing must happen to my," Auntie Morenike said loudly. "Give it to me." Sewa held the gown tight. I fell," she whispered. "It tore by accident." Auntie Morenike shook her head slowly. Then, suddenly, she slapped Sewa hard on the cheek. The sound echoed through the compound. Sewa's face burned. Her hands dropped the gown. People gasped. "You have lied too many times," Auntie Morenike said, her voice calm but sharp. "Now you will face the truth." Sewa picked up the gown slowly and handed it to Auntie Morenike. Faded, thin, nothing bright, nothing new. The people in the compound stared. They whispered to each other. The children laughed quietly. The women shook their heads. "Is that borrow and borrow?" someone whispered. "Yes," another said. "See what happens when you never stop taking." Sewa tried to speak. She wanted to explain, to apologize, to cry, but no words came out. Her chest felt tight. Her face burned with shame. From that day, no one greeted her. No one lent her anything. Doors were closed when she walked by. People avoided her like she was a disease. Mothers told their daughters, "Do not be like Sewa. Never borrow too much." Sewa sat in her small room that evening. She wrapped herself in her old wrapper. Her hands shook. The torn gown was gone. Her borrowed life, her borrowed admiration, her borrowed respect, everything was gone. She realized at last her world had ended completely. Moral story. She did not steal money. She did not fight anyone. She only refused to stop borrowing, and that small habit finished her life.